What's up, YouTube? I'm back again to look at more AI stuff for my PhD. Last week, well, actually, it wasn't last week. It was just the other day. I did a video running through the results of some AI prompting. Went through a bunch of tracks, talked about the general idea behind my PhD moving forward. And just as a quick recap, the proposed idea for my PhD is to use AI as a collaborator to create music, and to explore the results and see what happens, basically. So I made a bunch of music using AI, making some prompts. I hesitate to say I made it, but I prompted it to make some stuff. And if you go back and watch that video, I talk a lot about like what I think about it. I kind of like review the pieces in a way, talk about what I think works with them, what I think doesn't, what I think the AI seems to be good at versus what it's not very good at, that kind of thing. But since then, I have just split some of those tracks into stems. And this one I did look at in that previous video. I'll just play a little bit of it now. So I quite like this just on its own. It's actually kind of cool. The prompt was, make me some IDM music that sounds like a cross between Fortet and Autica. I think it sounds more like Autica than Fortet, but that's fine. The fact that it was able to get something that sounded kind of like Autica was actually a bit impressive to me, because so much of what seems to come out of the AI, so much of what it wants to do is extremely popularized genres. And when it does them well, but it does kind of generic kind of versions of them. I would argue this is sort of generic, but because it is like an IDM kind of track, just by the nature of that genre, it's less generic than, say, like, I don't know, some Taylor Swift sound-alike sort of song. But I split this into stems, as you can see, and I'm gonna do some stuff with it. So I want to document the process as I go through making this stuff. Hopefully that's of interest to you or anyone besides myself. I'm doing it partly just, mostly for myself and for my PhD, and to kind of track my progress. So what I want to do first is take this drum beat, and chop it up into various pieces and put that into a drum rack and do some fun stuff there. So the first thing I want to know is, and this might be a little bit tricky with this beat, is I need to know the BPM. So I want to find the downbeat. I think it's just there. Let's try it. Let's just act like this is the downbeat right there. And let's just move this over for a sec. Let's just put this here, right up against the grid. And let's get this into some kind of timing. That's probably right. Somewhere around there. So maybe it's like 130, maybe. Let's try 130. It seems pretty good. I might have to warp these. Let's just try it with a metronome. It's just such a broken beat, though, is the issue. So even if I get it on the grid, I don't know if the metronome's really going to do it for me. Maybe it's more like this. This is going to be annoying, isn't it? Yeah, this is, I can already tell this is going to be annoying. Let's see where the next downbeat is so we can get an idea. All right, let's act like this is the downbeat. This is the sort of bullshit administrative garbage that I so often have to, well, we all as producers have to do sometime. It's just this kind of shit. Let's just go. That's the next beat, I think. So if I can get that there, we got 98. I think that's it. I think it's 98 BPM. Let's try it. Yep. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut these up into chunks because they are a bit different. Like it's not a completely predictable straight beat, I should say. I probably don't need all of these, but let's just get a number of them. I'm just going to consolidate them as well so that they are their own audio file. And then I'm going to highlight them. Can I load these just into a drum rack? No, I have to drag them in. That's kind of annoying. Ableton's a bit inconsistent with stuff sometimes. Sometimes you can right click. Like if I had a simpler device up and I had a bunch of stuff chopped up in that or sliced in that, I could slice it to a drum rack, but you can't just select a bunch of audio and be like, hey, chuck this in a drum rack. Or if you can, I don't seem to be able to find out how to do it. And I'm just like, you should be able to do that. Like, come on. Why can't I do that is the bigger question. But anyway, it's not difficult to drag it in or anything. And what I'm going to do is, where is it? This is what I need. Yep. Is I'm going to select all of these and put them on choke 1. And when we do that, we can, let's just, I've got my launch pad over here out of frame. That's pretty cool. So just stuff like that, we can kind of like if I go over here and I just, let's say, I kind of wish I had live 12 actually, because you can do more randomization stuff with that. But let's say I want to, let's go with quarters and let's just chuck in a few random bits, and then let's duplicate this and like a few times, and let's make some changes. Guess doesn't matter if they repeat, but trying to get it so they don't repeat doesn't matter. It's not a big deal. So let's just, this isn't going to sound great because they're all just on quarter notes, but let's have a listen. I mean, it doesn't sound terrible, but it's not what I want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend the length, and I'm going to send it again. Cool. But what I also want to do is do a few little things like that, and then maybe like that, and then, I don't know, just like draw some stuff in. This is all just fairly freeform, as I'm sure you can tell. I don't want to put them too close together because then it just starts to sound like it can never ease into anything, you know? So maybe what I should do is that, so we get something like that. We can adjust this later. But the other thing we can do is get some kind of glitchy stuff going. So like, do some things like this, maybe. The other thing we can do, excuse me, is use other plugins to get sort of interesting results as well. So maybe I'll just leave it at that for this clip. Firstly, as well, there's a few things we should do. I'm going to bring in a devil lock just because I want some grit. And let's also bring in Buster. So already it's sounding pretty cool. So there is another plugin that I kind of want to bring in here. Maybe it's a bit premature at this stage to be bringing it in, but let's bring it in anyway. Where is it? Is it Sugar Bytes? Yeah, Grandad. Sugar Bytes have been around for ages. They did an old plugin back in the day. Can't remember what it's called. Like, oh, maybe I'm thinking of DeBlue. Were they bought by Sugar Bytes? I don't know. Anyway, sort of random music plugin history there. But there was a plugin called Glitch, I think, by DeBlue. I want to say Sugar Bytes had something to do with that. Anyway, this is like a granular glitch program, basically. I'll just play it. So one cool thing you can do with this is you just randomize stuff. put it all the way on wet so you can hear what it's doing. And we can do other stuff, like we can change the buffer size, so if it's on 16. So this is going to be a fun tool for later. But let's just keep it dry for the moment so we get a better sense of what we're doing. Because let's move on to, I'm just going to save this really quick. Let's start a new. It's a bit of inside baseball. I'll just call this one. What have we got here? Deep. Let's just. Apologies for this. Won't take me long. Is it this one? Nope. It's this one, isn't it? Yep. So let's just copy the title or the prompt. And let's just. Why won't you let me do that? All right. I'll just call it something. Or checker AI. There we go. Let's find another element. Let's just So one thing that I thought was interesting is when I split these stems, it came out with like it splits it into what it expects to find. So like there's guitar and there's vocals. This one's just called other. And up here we've got what was that one? Bass. So but what it came out with for some of these things, like for the vocals, I thought was quite interesting. So what I thought I would do is just slice this part out. You'll see some common themes with the way I'm approaching this as we go on, but I'm going to bring in another drum rack. No, sorry. This time I'm going to bring in a simpler. And I'll just put that in there. Actually, let's consolidate it first to make it easier for ourselves or for myself. And we've got all these slices here now. Let's go on that. So I think that's pretty cool. That's where we start in terms of our notes. Where are we? Here. So I'm just going to find where that is. Here. And I'm going to go back here and find where our top end is. Probably just there. And this is a fun trick that I like to do sometimes, where I'm basically, you'll see. Firstly, let's just fill in these notes. All the way up to our final range, I suppose. I might take some of these notes out where there's less sound, I suppose. And I'm going to find that out in a second, where they are. Just going to make these the full length. And let's just see where in our slices where there's some dead air, so to speak. Oh, there's still something there. Maybe the dead air is good because it will give us some different rhythms. And the reason why I'm doing this, let's just cut to the chase. I'm going to bring in an arpeggiator. And I'm going to put it on... I was going to put it on random, but let's put it on like converge and diverge. I think that's what that means. Let's just play this. See, that's not going to work because converging and diverging is like coming from each end and just going whittling down. So it's not really going to work. Let's try it on random. Random other. And while we're at it, let's bring in some other stuff. Okay, so got like a vibe going, I suppose. I might actually just try and cut out a few of these steps, like on the bottom here. I might just take a few of them out. And then I might just... So these four here, let's take them out. And let's just adjust the fade in a little bit. Okay, I think we're in a good spot. What I'm going to do now is just create a new audio track and hit it to resampling. I'm just going to record a bunch of that. I'll just record 16 bars of it. All right, there we go. That'll be plenty, I'm sure. Let's just then mute that and let's listen back. So that's cool and all, but I think I need to EQ this a bit more. These are all just things, when you mix or when you produce, I feel like I mix as I go, but it's also just like an iterative stage of iterative process. Like you don't get the mix good right away. This part is more just like sound design. Like I'm just finding what the sound should be. Shaving off the frequencies that are nasty will probably happen later. This is more about accentuating what I like about the sound. Alright, I think that's good. Now, one thing I would like to do is maybe put a micro shift on it. Yep. And then some delay. I've got a lot of delays that I could use. I've been sort of digging Relayer recently. Still kind of wrapping my head around all of its idiosyncrasies. But I might just use a preset to begin with. Actually, let's just try it as it is. Alright. Good enough for the time being. It's kind of... I think I need a compressor on it, actually, just because it's kind of peaking a little bit. Let's just chuck Old Faithful. Okay, that's cool. We're gonna need something to make this little vocal chop. Like we have to harmonize it. So we've got a lot of stuff here, a lot of material. We've got this bass up the top. So what I'm going to do is just chop out notes. Okay, I reckon that might maybe be enough. It's kind of loops after that. So let's just take a bit of this out. I might actually, yeah, let's take this bit instead because it's... All right. This is going to be interesting. I'll just consolidate all of these. And now I could use the drum rack. Maybe I will actually, just to keep it kind of in the same vein of production. But also, the other thing I could do is just like, as an example, like put this in as simpler. Let's just do that for argument's sake so we can sort of see what it sounds like. Let's just chuck this in here. Oh. Actually do quite like that. Can I get it to loop? I really wish I could get it to loop like backwards and forwards. I don't think you can. I'm also, I also find it annoying because like it's found a 0 crossing, which is good. Do we start at a 0 crossing? We do not. So let's put it at our 0 crossing, which is probably about there. Yeah, that's way better. Interesting thing as well is that this sample that I've chosen, or this little segment of audio, it's kind of a chord. Like it's got a fundamental in there, but there are some overtones. So what I might do is I'll keep that, but I'm going to bring in a drum rack as well. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. And where's that drum rack? Here we go. And I'm going to bring all of these in. So let's get our drum rack. Let's bring that in first. Oh, come on, man. Work with me here. There we go. And let's bring the rest. Actually, no, let's bring this one in to here. Now, let's bring the rest in. So now what we have, oh God, it would help if I soloed it. And I'm going to do the same thing I did before where I choke them so that it's more like a mono synth. So why don't I bring up our audio chop. Alright, so we just need to fix up some of these. This one has... Let's get a zero crossing. It's found a zero crossing here. Yep, it sure has. One thing that might be fun as well is to... Let's duplicate this and let's solo it and let's get rid of this delay really quick. And let's put a vocoder on it. And let's find another section over here. Okay, so I'm gonna consolidate these. And that one, and that one. And you guessed it, we're gonna bring in a drum rack. That is the plugin of the day. So let's just bring these in. Damn it. And was it this one? And this one. Let's just get rid of these bits between them. Just select them all. Beautiful. Now, let's have a listen. Once again, I'm going to choke them. Wow, that just sounds a little bit creepy every time, doesn't it? So we got 5 chords here. This is going to be a very wonky tune, if that wasn't already extremely apparent. But let's... Let's just... Yep, 1 bar. Bring it out to 5. I might actually change the way I've got this set up so we've got different lengths. But let's just have a listen. Let's get the drum beat happening. Where's that drum beat? It's here. Yeah, let's make it so it's like so. Oh my god, just snap to the fucking grid. Didn't snap to the grid. Snap! Just why? Oh my god. Alright, and do it like this then. Fuck me, man. So, I like that. Let's just save it. And let's also do the thing you should always do and collect all and save. What I want to do though is filter this. And I have this pretty sick filter plugin / EQ called Shade, which you can do a lot of this stuff just with Ableton stock plugins and envelope followers. But yeah, I feel like you can take things... This is a much sort of more streamlined approach. So we got lots of different filter types here. I'm going to go with like a comb. Let's try something like that. And let's just... This comb might be not the best. We'll just play around and see what we get. I mean, it's pretty wild, I've got to say. Let's just bring this into a more manageable range. And let's bring in... So I want to do something like an LFO. And I want it to be a saw wave. And let's just put it on here. Let's try a phaser instead. Let's just get what I want to begin with. So I want this to be locked. Actually, no, I don't want it to be... I want one of them to be locked. This one is not the one. I'm going to add another LFO. And this one's going to be a sine wave. And this one is going to play with the other one's time. And this one is going to be Like, say, like that, maybe. Let's make it more extreme. So we're on the expander filter. If you don't know, shade is from UVI. So it's basically, if you're familiar with Falcon at all, UVI Falcon, I've actually done a bunch of videos on UVI Falcon. Should probably go back to it at some point. Really great synth. I absolutely love it. This is kind of like taking a lot of the filters from that and putting it in its own plugin. And the expander filter has a lot of different filter types, different filter shapes. So like, look at, that's a weird filter shape. That's a weird filter shape. That's a weird filter shape. Let's audition some of them. I mean, already I think that's pretty cool. Let's try another one. Let's remember that one though. Now, is this one better than this one? They're very similar. Maybe this one's a bit better. So, I actually think I've just sort of stumbled on something that I like, so let's just keep it there. We might adjust things later, but the other thing I want to do is bring in a reverb for that sound. I have a lot of reverbs. Sometimes it's difficult to choose because there's a lot of good ones. But let's try this one, this perhaps lesser known reverb, or maybe it's well known. I'm not sure. It's called Galactic. It's from Air Windows. Air Windows is just this one guy who just makes plugins. All of his plugins look like this, just like no nonsense. It's not about the interface, it's about the sound. But this reverb is really excellent. In fact, most of the Air Windows plugins, there are a stack of them, just by the way. I'll just quickly show you because it's actually insane. Like, an insane number. And I've only really played around with a few of these. Some of them just do very specific things. And there's lots of, like, there's a bunch of different reverbs in here, for example, and rather than it just being one reverb with different presets, so that kind of thing. I also think it might be fun to duplicate this track and get rid of Shade on the second one and get rid of Galactic, and in this case we'll just filter it a bit with a static filter. Let's try another Air Windows, shall we? Maybe is there a band pass? No. Multi-band distortion. What's why not band pass? That's a band pass filter. So this way, with a bandpass, I'm shaving off a lot of the high end and some of the low end. And let's put actually, let's just use wider here from Polyverse. And in fact, let's bring in Pro Q. Let's get rid of a lot of these lows. And let's just completely take out the mids. Oh, that's not what I wanted. And I might also might bring in this and put it in there. Pretty subtle EQ, that one, sometimes. But it's also the fact that I've got this Pro Q on it, so what I'm going to do here is just do a fully wet reverb, and I'm going to do Black Hole. Absolutely love this reverb so much. It's such an incredible reverb. Quite famous for a reason, I would say. And now we've lost a lot of volume, which is generally okay for a reverb. I think we're going to need a little bit more stereo widening. Maybe I should just put this wider at the end here. Yeah, that's better. Yep, beautiful. And I want to boost it a bit as well. Yeah, difficult to choose in this instance. I'm not really sure what would be a good... you know, I'll just use Lala. So I've been using a lot of Analog Obsessions plugins in this session. They're kind of my go-to for classic vintage emulations. I think they sound awesome. They're all completely free, if you weren't aware of them, but I think that they are like professional grade and they are free. Beautiful. Look at that. Love it. Now we've got a very spacious sound and a bit of movement as well. Let's just group these. And let's bring in our drum beat again. Pretty good. Now, the real question is this going to fit with the little bass line that I made over here? No. No, it is not. So I'm going to make, actually, let's undo that. I'm just going to duplicate this and I'll see if I can get something that matches up. I mean, they do work together. They should work together. The other thing I'm going to do, before I do that, actually, just so I get a sense of what I'm working with, is I'm going to bring in like a piano. Where's Ableton's piano? tension. No, wait, it's not tension. I'll just bring in the electric piano. Electric, there it is. So we've got a C, and what we're going to want is for the C to be, so I need to tune this, right? So it's in the correct range. How do I tune it? Do I have to put the audio back in, or can I just tune it in here? I think I have to put it back in. That's very annoying. Can I take this audio out? Let's just show it in browser. Let's make another audio track. Let's just put it here. And let's just do this. No. I want you to loop. Loop, damn it. You know, I think it was on C to begin with. That's C. Why did it sound so different? I think it's because it's got a lot of those chord harmonics in it. Kind of sounds cool, actually. All right, well, in that case, let's see what we can get with these pads. Let's try that. And let's just bring it down an octave. That's pretty good. Let's try it with this audio. Did I duplicate this? Oh, that's right. I was going to do something with the vocoder. Let's do that now. Let's make our carrier an external. Let's make it from, where's our pads? Pads, drum rack 2. Let's see what we get here. It's pretty cool. All right, that's sick. What I would like to do as well is let's find ourselves an LFO. Let's bring that in. Probably have to stop this video soon. It's getting pretty long. And let's put it on random, put it on 16th notes. And let's map it to this format knob. Pretty cool. Let's smooth it out a bit. Retune this one. You know, instead of micro shift, might be good to do. So let's use Pan Man. Rhythm step. Let's try that and oh god. Two steps, man. Fucking hell. I don't really want it to do that, like... Rhythm shape is what I wanted, yeah. And let's... I think we're going to need a little bit of filtering on this because it's pretty scratchy. I know that I did some high frequency shit over here, but I think I need to tame that a bit. My god, there's so much low end in this. Alright, let's get one of these over here as well. Okay. Alright, let's, because now things are starting to get a bit hairy, let's just chuck in a Pro L2 on the output. I always do this at a certain point early on. I don't usually adjust the gain until later, but just to stop it clipping, really. I think we're in a good place. Certainly on our way to something that sounds good. I actually quite dig this, and honestly, it's pretty similar. Well, it's not similar. It's clearly reminiscent of the original AI generated piece, but now it has more structure. It sounds more like me rather than the AI. Yeah, I'm into this. I think this is a good sign. Why can't I move then? Let's just move this instead. Why? There we go. Cool. Well, that's going to do it for this video, I think. Stay tuned for the next one. There will be many of these, I'm sure. Probably 2 a week as I move forward. But it's going to be pretty loose, not so structured like my other video series, where pretty much without fail, I'll make a video for them each week. This one might not be as regular, or it might be more regular. Just depends on the situation at the time. And sometimes they're going to be quite long, like this video is going to be like over an hour. I hope you're into that. Yeah, cool. So that's going to be this video. That's the beginnings of a pretty fun track. Obviously, it's not arranged at all, but there's definitely enough there to make something out of, for sure. Yeah, so I'm pretty excited about that. And what's interesting is that each of these tracks are going to be quite different, because they're going to be, well, hopefully they're all going to sound like me, because I'm the one like making them, essentially. Even if I'm using AI materials, I'm still fashioning them, sculpting them into something that is what I would make. But the prompts I'm giving are quite varied, so like, there's probably going to be a bit of variety in these tracks, which is good. I'm down for that. All right. That's it. Like and subscribe. Comment. Tell me what you think. I would love to hear your feedback. And that's going to do it. And I'll see you next time. Bye.